seconds after the clap.
No, wait 10 seconds after you turn it on.
Oh, I thought you meant 10 seconds after your clap.
No, it's not recording the clap.
Okay.
That's why let it play, let it boot up.
Well, I recorded and then we got the clap. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What the hell are we talking about anyway? We can just start
Jesus
talking.
Christ, I don't know.
What's on everybody's mind? Because, goddamn it.
Can we please leave all of this in?
Yeah, well, it tends to anyway.
What's on my mind? This fucking equipment.
Yeah.
This basement.
Yeah, the audio-visual aspect of our podcast is not playing ball like we want it to, and that's got Shane a little miffed. But, yeah, what we were talking about, I think we agreed advertising was the way to go to start off slow.
I have no idea. Shane's a little miffed because while y'all were show prepping, I was fighting with all this goddamn equipment and had no idea what was talked about.
Don't worry, we'll pick up your slack for you.
I'm less prepared than normal, which is not very much.
Well, we weren't really show prepping. We were just tossing around different ideas, and they were cluing me into certain social groups and their hang-ups and whatnot.
Is that not how we show prep?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, in this instance, talking about this advertising we were talking about earlier, and it was, the dumb shit in advertising we got to deal with on a regular basis. Like, say, Red Bull doesn't really give you wings, and yet somehow nobody has sued them because they drank a Red Bull and jumped off a fucking house and expected to have wings.
Are we sure that's never happened?
Yes,
that's what I was
I've
saying.
done the research. It has never happened.
Yeah,
Wow.
He said there's no disclaimer on Red Bull packaging, meaning it hasn't happened.
Yeah, because nobody does that kind of stuff proactively. I mean, you give the disclaimer because some idiot did it.
Yeah, because some dumb fuck did it.
Well, because even the Superman Halloween costumes, they have to have the disclaimer that wearing this suit does not enable the wearer to fly.
Well, that's stupid because he doesn't get his flying powers from the suit.
Well, still,
Yellow Sun.
I remember being 4 years old in my cape saying that, the cape's not what makes him fly.
Well, that's exactly what happened, though, was a kid jumped off a bookshelf, I think, and broke his arm wearing that costume. And I guess they sued the manufacturer.
But it's also story later.
But it's also like TV dinners where it says, it has a disclaimer, do not eat frozen,
You can. It just tastes like shit.
But that's the thing is somebody did it.
Have you ever been high and impatient?
Well, that's it. Everything that people can be stupid with these days, they have been stupid with, and the companies have to make a fucking disclaimer because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And there's none on Red Bull, which leads me to believe that nobody, or at least nobody, has gotten any money off of them in a court of law. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but ideas.
But yeah, that was an idea I had years ago because I started noticing I've checked their packaging, their cans, anything, their website, everything. Not one thing says that drinking this will not give you wings. Everything it says Red Bull gives you wings. So
and they actually keep pushing it more and more in their commercials.
I think their defense could be nobody said if gave you wings that would allow you to fly. Maybe it gives you penguin wings or ostrich wings or something.
Well, but still, you'd have to sprout wings one way or the other.
Yeah, and if you're
not whether they're functional or not, you still have to. But you got to come up with wings.
But there's no damages if the wings don't come out because you're not going to jump off some shit and try to fly. The impact from trying to fly is what enables you to sue.
But the counter defense to that would be, wings. When people think wings, they think that they can fly. So the person who thought they were going to sprout wings obviously assumed that these wings would allow them to fly.
Shouldn't make assumptions.
We shouldn't. But again,
basing on the theories that you get when you're high, I mean, how is it that a guy who's stoned out of his fucking mind hasn't drank a Red Bull and assumed he could just walk into a Buffalo Wild Wings and eat what the fuck he wants? Something that literal.
Maybe the getting high people and the Red Bull people don't overlap.
Oh, they overlap, I'd say.
Maybe they show up at the Red Bull factory with like a bunch of napkins and sauce and stuff, and they're like, where's my wings?
Yeah.
Give me my wings.
I mean, they do eat, don't they?
But the thing, Red Bull's mostly for college kids with Jaeger.
Oh, they like to stay up all night studying and don't know what.
No, Jaeger.
No, like to be drunk enough to pass out, but too hyped up on caffeine to actually do it.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of Red Bull.
Jaeger bombs.
I don't like it. So. But I swore off Jaeger in the 90s. That shit's like liquid war.
It is. Yeah.
You drink a bunch of that and you're fighting your mother.
Yep.
Well, you think it's your mother, but it's really just a pillar in the bar.
Well, at a friend's house, we started drinking a bunch of Jaeger, and next thing I know, one of them's outside, and I peek out the door, and there he is with his pants around his ankles, running down the sidewalk, turned around, looked at me, and goes, "I'm gonna fuck that dog." What?
Whoa.
Well, the next day he says, "I kind of remember that. I don't know about the pants thing, but I remember saying I'm gonna kill that dog." No. No, that is not. I remember vividly what you said. And I think you were actually going to do it.
Good things dog can run a little faster than humans most of the time. If it had been a short one, that would have been hilarious if he'd have got a hold of it.
Well, if he'd taken his pants all the way off, then he probably would have been able to catch it.
Yeah. I think the difference between it being a tragic accident and a what a way to go is whether or not he came.
Well, how big was the dog?
I never saw a dog.
Okay. I was going to say.
I just saw my friend running down the street.
I was going to say, if he tried to fuck a Rottweiler that didn't want fucked, what a way to go. It's like he was doing what he loved.
Or if he
was he?
If he did fuck a Rottweiler that didn't want to be fucked, and you're like, praise him.
That's an impressive story that he has to tell his girlfriend and his grandkids later in life, if he lived. Aside from the Red Bull, that's what we were talking about, right? The problem with Red Bull not really giving you wings. I mean, sure. Every fucking product and company imaginable has gone through some shit like that. We were talking about the McDonald's coffee lady, and Casey pointed out that it wasn't as funny and cut and dry as one was led to believe back then. It was more of a...
It was a really sad story, actually.
Yeah.
Because that particular McDonald's kept their coffee way hotter than than coffee should ever be. And when they gave it to her, of course, she spilled some, but it gave her third-degree burns on her inner thighs. And she didn't ask them for any any way to enrich herself. She was just an old on a fixed income, and she just asked them to pay for her medical bills. And they basically told her to fuck off, And so she sued them and got, I want to say like 5 or 10 million.
I think it's like 6.
That's it. I thought it was 5 or 6 in the neighborhood.
I haven't heard the story in 20 years, but we went over it in one of my classes in college, and they were...
but the news and everywhere else was just like, oh, look at this stupid lady didn't know coffee.
They had been warned many times that the heat sensor was either broken or disabled on the coffee machine.
Yeah, but it was absolutely McDonald's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they tried to completely demonize that woman and just be like, oh, this stupid woman.
She trying to sue because she spilled her coffee.
Yeah. And that's how I heard about it. The first time I ever heard about it, I was like, what a fucking idiot. Like, who doesn't know coffee's hot, Yeah.
So essentially, they could have gotten off with paying out for a new heat sensor and a couple of $1,000s in medical bills, and then ended up paying $5-6 million, whatever it was.
Well, if I remember right, they were warned many times before that about their heat sensor, so they could have shelled out a few bucks for that and not had to pay anybody anything.
Yeah, it changed the light bulb.
Heck, how much could like a new coffee machine even cost?
That's it. It's not going to be $5 or $6 million.
Machine.
No, I mean, well, probably for the ones that they use, because it's heavy use. It's not
like industrial.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, but also we're talking about this was early '90s, wasn't it?
This is like
so. Technology is not what it is now. It looks like a fucking refrigerator now, but now back then, seems like I saw pots of coffee.
Yeah, it was a regular coffee pot, only huge.
Well, it uses. it still
they
uses.
Still poured it with your regular old coffee pot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it's more industrial. It's a lot more like.
So have one of the cleaner employees dip their finger in it before they start pouring it to people.
Not you. Your skin's the wrong
If it comes back bone, don't serve it. Too hot right there.
Well, no, see, now they're covered because they have warnings on... Because that was the thing, too, is no McDonald's had any warnings on their cups.
I'd also like to hope that they added the regulation of checking your fucking heat sensor to where people won't actually get hurt, and these warnings are kind of rendered moot anyway.
At the time, their coffee was, I think, if I remember correctly, they kept it over 200 degrees or something really ridiculously hot.
It was nuts. Yeah.
I mean, it was way hotter than any coffee ever needs to be. I mean,
yeah, and that fucked McDonald's. And McDonald's is a bigger company than Red Bull, so I don't know how anybody hasn't sued Red Bull over the fucking wings thing, because there's a dumbass out there waiting.
I have encouraged so many people to do just that. When people are down on their luck, I always tell them, I'm like, just drink a shitload of Red Bull, jump off your roof, break your legs.
Well, it seems like this should be part of like a fucking one of those indie or the backyard wrestling videos that always go awry. It's like 3 guys jumping off their mom's house and missing the trampoline or getting run over by a car. Why not have one of them just suck down a Red Bull right before he goes?
This is totally unrelated, but you made me think of it, and that's how my brain works.
That'll work.
I was going to talk to you, like, before we got started, but I didn't get a chance to. I was watching a YouTube video of, like, they didn't call it outtakes, but they were like, when the cameras aren't running for the WWE wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
more or less outtakes.
It's outtakes and them just fucking off and having fun with each other and with the crowd and stuff. But they had Hogan and Stone Cold just hanging out in the ring, drinking beer and shit. And Hogan flipped off the crowd and was throwing beer all over each other. He laid down in the ring and dumped the beer out of both hands in his mouth. I was like, see, that guy should have been there in the 80s.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated him then.
Sadly, that guy was there in the 80s. He was just backstage, and he wasn't preaching about train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins with the secret steroid, use.
Yeah, but like the backstage guy was the stage performer, then I would have appreciated what he brought to the business.
You know what? Actually, that does play into this conversation really well, because the way they represented Hogan, that was your ultimate good guy. This is what every child should aspire to be, and he was a complete fuck behind the scenes. It's like,
Complete degenerate.
So it actually does work, yeah.
I did a thing.
Well done.
I contributed.
Yay! Yeah, still waiting on her.
Hey man, I'm sick, so I'm trying not to.
He's sick, guys. Yeah. Be easy on him. He's sick.
I'll cough on you.
Yeah, whatever.
This is already like the third most he's spoken in an episode already. So
I agree.
Cut him some slack.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. I will. You know what? I got an idea. While we're talking about advertising, why don't we talk about normal commercials on a day-to-day basis? Since the last time we brought one up, he really got to knock it out of the park and make a short out of it. With that little blue box commercial.
Oh, yeah. I actually finally saw one of those.
Oh, I did too.
A month later.
Yeah.
A month after we talked about it.
But, another thing on my mind when I watch commercials is every damn product now has to pander to some sort of fucking social group. Where, although I do find it funny that every one of those HIV medications, all they have is gay men in it.
They know their audience.
I mean, really? It's like I'm writing that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hilarious, but it's like the whole you can't have white people in your commercials anymore unless, like, say they're gay or there's some special interest. Like I saw a couple of trans men, whatever they were, but they were white in color. So that's why they got on the show. You can't just have like white families in your commercials now, because that portrays the wrong image for, I guess, what they want.
The inclusivity thing.
The media.
Yeah.
The people, the Jews that control the advertising.
The inclusiveness part that just bothers me, because these companies don't care. The only color they're looking for is green.
Yeah,
they don't care about your color or who you're doing what with or who's taking what in which orifice. Well, but it doesn't matter. They just want your money.
You are just
apparently the HIV meds do care what you're putting in your orifice.
And they hope that it's contaminated or they'll be out of business.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sean?
Oh, no, I was going to say what he was saying, where it's like you're just a checkbox, where it's like we've got white woman, okay, we need a black guy. Is there some Asian or Mexican kid we can get to be their son?
Yeah.
Can he be gay? is the dog gay?
Yes.
Get a gay breed.
Well, that's it. Like, you watch the commercials, and I love it. The only one I've seen that used your standard run-of-the-mill white mom, white dad, white kids, nuclear family as described from, what, like the 60s?
Alcohol abuse commercial.
Well, yeah, I guess white dads do drink the
this
same
is
as
back
everybody
before
else.
they arrested the husbands.
Oh, okay, yeah. But the only product now where you see that kind of representation in their advertising is fucking Daisy Sour Cream. It's like the whitest product.
I don't know.
Could not get any whiter, and they're the only ones that will like slap you right in the face with an all-white family. I love that.
Hidden Valley Ranch did.
Hidden Valley Ranch did?
Yeah, they did. I saw a commercial with an all-white family recently.
And what color is ranch dressing?
White, but it goes with your point.
Oh, speckled too. So
I just like the way they do commercials and the diversity and the representation and everything in them. It aggravates me, but not for the reason that you think it would.
It's pandering.
It bothers me because it's the pandering and because it's these idiots will need me to show them this or they won't buy my shit.
Exactly. They think everybody is so fucking stupid that it's like, oh, well, these gay men all use the same HIV medication. So therefore you should too if you ever come in contact with a gay man and he gives you HIV. Like,
Well, but it goes to what you're saying, but I think at the end of the day, they probably received 3 or 4 letters and they're just like, okay, we're just going to do it this way just so we won't get any more letters. I think that's the only reason they're doing it is just so they'll be like, okay, shut up. Because I think that they know that most people don't give a shit.
I don't even think it goes to that much. They had some focus group somewhere responded a certain way, and they're like, "Well, we'll make more money if we, make their kid Asian."
Yeah.
Or, if the uncle on this sitcom, if he's trans, maybe we'll make more money that way. They don't care who's represented or
They look
whose
at Twitter.
feelings they're looking for. They
look at Twitter and think it's the real world.
They look at what's trending or what they think they can make a buck off of.
yeah. Well, but a perfect example of that biting him in the ass right now is this current Bud Light. To me, even the CEO, he was like, that was never actually a campaign. That was one can that was made against without our authorization. Might have been, might not have been. I really don't care. The fact that the 2 people in charge of making sure that can got out on social media are now, one is gone completely and one's on a leave of absence.
I think that whole thing aggravates me just because of who cares?
You know what aggravates me?
I don't care what's on this label or how they advertise it or how they con me into buying it. I enjoy this beverage, so I purchased this beverage.
Well, see, here's the problem with
it could have a picture of my mother doing it with a penguin or something, and I'd be like, I don't care. I like how it tastes. I'm going to drink it.
I'm just going to turn the bottle label out.
I am neither.
That's the problem.
I am neither offended nor appalled or aroused by your container packaging.
That's the problem with Bud Light, though, is that you're like, this is a beer that I like and I enjoy, but Bud Light was not
Nobody
a beer
says
that
that.
people liked or enjoyed. So
it's
when
camel
you do
piss.
something like that,
That's it to me. That's what bugs me about Bud Light doing it. Anheuser-Busch as a whole, because Bud Light's, I don't give a shit what they say. That's probably their top seller as far as all beer.
Guarantee it.
Like, without even, anything close. Maybe Budweiser close. But who mostly drinks Bud Light?
Rednecks.
Fucking dumb rednecks.
Yeah.
Know your fucking audience.
Yeah, because
Well, I'm thinking they were hoping that
they're going to get
we're not going to lose any of our rednecks, but we'll get a couple of blue hairs to start buying the product.
That's it. Guess what? The dumb rednecks, they will buy... like they're the ones that would go and fill their pickups with Bud Light every weekend.
Well, here's the thing.
Tell me what trans guy's going to do that?
They drink IPAs.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you want,
Microbrews.
The whole neck at a time.
with their waxed mustaches.
If you want the, liberal blue hair diversity groups or whatever to drink your product, make it not taste like shit.
That's it. Make it taste better. Don't put any fucking political agenda behind it. Just make a better fucking product.
Well, that's why in America, there's only like a couple of countries that actually produce cold. Most other countries, like England, Ireland, all the places.
It's all warm beer.
Yeah, because
they're room temperature.
Because they are concerned about taste. The reason Bud Light and stuff like that is cold is because it tastes like dog shit when it's warm. So
they want you to be hot and thirsty when you drink it, so you won't fucking care.
It's like, wow, yeah, our product tastes like horse piss. You know who's gonna like it? The trans.
Yeah.
No, they're not. The dumb rednecks who drink enough of it to where they don't taste it at all. That's your target audience. That's my main problem with the whole thing is know your fucking audience.
Well, here's the thing. The lady that was in charge and made the decision to be like, we should get in contact with
the one
him
that's on a leave of absence.
Yeah. Which they've already named her successor, by the way.
Yeah, it's a hell of a leave of absence. Sorry you've been replaced while you were out.
But she actually said that it's like, we don't like our image as being a frat party beer. We want to go ahead and be more... She did the normal thing where it's like, we want to be more inclusive and
this is a woman that has never tasted any of their products.
That's 100% it. Is, you know why Bud Light is a frat party beer? Because it's a frat party beer. Mm-hmm. It's not about fucking taste. It's about consuming as much as possible.
It's cheap.
I went to Harvard Business School and graduated magna cum laude, so obviously I've never tasted a beer because I actually finished school, but I know how to run a company. You should know a little bit about your product.
Here's another thing that she did, and I don't know, this one might not be as problematic, but she was also like, we're trying to reach a younger audience. And it's like, your audience is like 21 and up.
I want to say I was 14 the first time I drank a Bud Light. Yeah. I think there are younger audiences in there.
Yeah, the younger. Guess what?
That's why I'm saying that one might not be as big of a problem, because it's one of those things where it's like, for the laws, it's like, I don't think you can. But at the same time, it's like, if you're drinking Bud Light, that's probably the safest thing for them to be drinking.
You know what, though? You know what demographic drinks Bud Light at a younger age? Dumb rednecks.
Yeah,
it's true.
They go in their daddy's garage fridge.
That's it. Usually their dad has so much of it in the refrigerator that he's not going to miss a few cans. If he doesn't, it's like, you go, you drink a Bud Light, you fucking, puke your guts out because it still tastes like shit even to a fucking 7-year-old.
Yeah, it does.
It's like,
Dad gave me a beer when I was 6.
Was it Bud Light? It wasn't Bud Light.
No, it was Budweiser. He didn't mean to. He was doing the whole, he wants me to try it. So, it's gross.
You get a gross face.
Yeah. And then
but backfired on me.
But we all did that.
He forgot he gave it to me, and I drank, I want to say like 3/4 of a bottle, then went in my bedroom and puked in the corner.
It was a can.
Huh?
It was a can.
Yeah, you go. But then
how would you know? Were you there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We lived in the same house.
He would have been.
Yes, I was there.
I forgot.
Yeah. Brother. Yes, I was there. Yeah, it was a can. I remember that. It was Coors Light.
Well, either way.
It was Coors or Miller. I don't know.
But yeah,
even Dad wouldn't let his...
know.
Well, that's it. Even his kid, even our dad wouldn't let his kid drink Bud Light.
Yeah, because he didn't want me turning trans.
This was back in the day, though.
He knew it turned you gay.
This was back before trans was a thing.
This was back before the conversion therapy.
They was just cross-dressers.
Pray the gay away.
Yeah, these cross-dressers, and you just beat them up at the gas station if you ever saw them.
And then jack off in your Trans Am later on.
Woohoo!
That's why Pontiac went out of business, because they had the Trans Am, and them rednecks wasn't about to buy it.
I knew it. I
don't care how much horsepower it has. It's a Trans Am, and I ain't having it.
I want a straight white.
No son of mine is going to drive a Trans Am.
Smokey would never steer us wrong. Pun intended.
You mean Bandit?
You
mean Bandit?
Or yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Smokey was the cop chasing the bandit.
Yeah. No, see, that's what I'm saying is that Bandit would.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Well, Bandit would, yeah, because
Bandit was a badass.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds. He wasn't no trans.
No.
That's for sure. Probably never even played one in these movies.
I love how Burt Reynolds in real life, everybody said that he just slapped everybody. Like even his friends, that they said that when he'd come up to people and as a greeting, he'd just slap them in the face.
That's it's Burt Reynolds. I mean, he can do that.
Oh yeah, he can. But it was
Rick James can do it. Burt Reynolds can do it.
Yeah. There's a few of them that I would feel that would get away with that. Burt Reynolds is one of them.
Like, was that Sean Connery, Liam Neeson, or both that were like, "Yeah, I just slapped my bitch around. What are you gonna do?"
That's Sean Connery.
In the face.
Was it Connery?
Yeah, because a whole bunch of shows made fun of him for it, but he didn't give a shit.
I let that bitch know what for.
Because he just said if she didn't want to get hit, she wouldn't burn dinner, now would she?
Goddamn right.
He's not wrong.
Sounds like he should be a guest on this show.
That's what you learn about a woman with 2 black eyes. She doesn't listen.
Fix the eggs over easy next time, bitch.
I'm tired of you serving me these sloppy, slimy eggs.
Oh my God, that's Jesco though. That's just. I bet we could get him as a guest on here, but God damn, would you even want to?
Yes, no. Absolutely. If you promise him 2 beers, no more than 2. I used to hang out with him down at the Empty Glass in Charleston.
I've hung out with him a couple of times, and it's like
he doesn't have Empty Glass money anymore. He's back down at Bob and B's.
Well, he's
just going sniffing the fucking gas tanks.
He's down at the marathon. But the one I'm scared of actually is his sister, Mamie. Oh, she's awful.
You want to know a funny story? This is not a funny story, but I love telling it, so you get to hear it again. All right. Remember in the second, I think it's the Wild and Wonderful movie or whatever.
Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
When they go to the women's penitentiary to pick up Mousie, and she's telling the stories like, I ain't got no parole officer this time. I ain't got to answer nobody. I ain't got to worry about it. I'm good. Guess it was her parole officer that arrested her and sent her back to the penitentiary.
It was him.
Like a funnier story is I was telling that to.
So you got a mention in that movie. Nice.
I did. Uncredited, of course. Just like this show. Bullshit. Nobody ever gives me any credit.
Can't even go on your IMDb page.
You're featured in the intro now.
Years later. Because I made the damn intro.
Good for something, apparently.
Years later, I worked in another related industry, and I was telling that story to my supervisor, and she said, "Oh my God, that's hilarious because I took her baby. I found drugs in it." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Small world.
I like in that particular movie when after she picked her up at jail, they stopped by the Taco Bell and the first thing they wanted was mozzarella cheese sticks, and I'm like, why the fuck would Taco Bell? They don't have anything mozzarella. But then she started just screaming at people inside that I guess knew him. They took her baby.
She's sad. They found drugs in it. What's funny is when I was Mousie's PO, had a lot of contact with the whole family because we got to do home checks and make sure their living situation. Every time they change their living situation, we have to go out and approve and everything. Their entire family talks like this. And they would call in and be like, "Hey, I don't know if y'all know what Mousie's doing, but she's doing this." Okay, who am I speaking to? Well, I just talked to you yesterday. I've talked to your entire family in the past 4 days, and I cannot tell you apart on the phone.
Yeah.
Stop by the office, and we'll talk about it.
I love it that because of that kind of shit, that is what people outside of this state view as an accurate portrayal of day-to-day life in West Virginia. It's like they're all fucking like that. They all like to shake pills to attract women. Stuff like that. They just see that and hillbilly hot dogs as that is the way these fucking hilljack yokels are living,
and they
every day.
And they are 94% accurate.
They are. I'm not saying it's not accurate.
And they got their fucking kids running around with 2 liters of Mountain Dew with no shoes.
Like that's it. They think we all live like that when it's actually it's certain counties are a lot worse than others.
Yeah.
It's like
I would venture to say the majority of us, at least at one point in our lives, lived like that, whether it's for 2 weeks or 2 years or forever.
Yeah, but not quite to that extreme that the whites portray. It's
they're
well, because the grandfather, he's the one, he signed up all the way down to his grandkids, even like Mousy, all them. The reason they don't have to fucking work is because their grandfather signed them all up on this. He was apparently a
State
genius.
assistance.
Yeah, well, it is, but he found all these fucking loopholes in the law, and he put Jesco, Mamie, all of his kids, and then once the grandkids came along, all of them, he put all of those on some form of disability, and that's all they have done since Jesco's father was around.
Well, that's that whole area. There's
there's
many different ways to find out
a lot of
your
them,
disability.
And Jesco's one brother that went out to Minnesota or Wisconsin or somewhere, and he actually works and
Jesco?
No, yeah, Jesco's brother.
Oh. We'll call him the blonde girl in the Munsters.
Yeah, exactly. And he went. I want to say Minnesota. He moved out to Minnesota because he said he had to get the fuck away from it because he was getting hooked on drugs. He's doing all the same shit that they were doing.
Yeah.
And
he just wasn't having the fun that they were.
Yeah, well, no, he's like, I had to. He scrambled away. Now he owns his own painting business or something, like house painting business or something to that effect.
I didn't figure he went.
He owns a paint huffing business.
Well, that's it. I didn't figure he went out to Minnesota and opened a law firm.
I sell spray paint and bread bags, and I'm making a fortune.
Yeah, a lot of the fucking people we're talking about, they're wrestling fans. So I've had to deal with so many of those over the years. And one guy actually claimed that he was Jesco's cousin. And little motherfucker didn't have a tooth in his head. Well, yeah. But I found out this guy was making it up. This fucker didn't have a tooth in his head. He had a hat on. He came into a wrestling show in a fucking suit and tie. And I was one of the only fuckers that would talk to him because he was just a scroungy little bastard. And I was like, what are y'all dressed up for? He's like, it's my pussy getting suit. It's like, how's it working for you? Well, it ain't worked yet. Like, unless that suit's made $100 bills, I don't figure you're getting any pussy with it tonight. It's like, God damn. That was the best. That's my pussy getting suit. Like, you're going to need teeth to get pussy, buddy. But he giving out gummers after the show.
Isn't that the worst double standard?
What?
Well, a guy can't get laid with no teeth, but a woman can.
Yeah.
Shit, for a woman, it's a perk.
Damn right. Oh, shit. We are going... Wow, we filled the time on this one, didn't we?
We went long on this bullshit that barely touched on the topic.
Yeah, we kind of did. We went off the rails about 15 minutes ago, but I don't know.
I blame Sean. He wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Kind of went all over the place.
Well,
That's true.
Now all we got to do is think up a good title to drum up some business. All right, yeah, fuck this. This episode's done.
This is dumb shit.
Do we done here?